how I went from 120 pounds soaking wet my freshman year of high school to 180 pounds built like this naturally. Now, this isn't going to be like everyone else saying, oh, I did this in 2 years, blah, 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 showing a bunch of still pictures with really good lighting. Like, I lived like this. This is me working out with good lighting. This is me in a room with normal lighting. I live like this. This is my body now. And I'm going to show you actually every step that I took to achieve this result. And I'm also, more importantly, in this video, I'm gonna tell you every lesson that I've learned with over a decade of training that could save you years, if not a full decade, in actually making progress in the gym. So if you're serious about building the best physique of your life, this is the video for you. So the first mistake I made in my lifting journey that kept me small for longer was anytime I went to a gym with friends, or lo and behold, if I saw a girl that I thought was attractive in the gym, I would ego lift like a maniac. I would instantly go on the bench, whatever day it was. It could have been like that. Nope, it was bench day. And I would just try and throw on as heavy weight as I could. I cared so much what other people thought. That set me back for years. That was a bad habit that I held in the gym for freshman all the way through my senior year of high school. I would ego lift, whether to be to impress the fellas, whether to be impressing a girl in the gym, whether to be impress my football coach, who, by the way, let's get into lesson number 2. The second mistake I made was believing that heavy compound movements were going to make me stronger and make me bigger and help me out. The issue is when you don't have good form and you're a young lifter, I wrecked my back squatting, but I would throw on 20, 30 pounds more than I should on the squat rack and just do terrible reps. And my coach would be like, oh yeah, push as much weight as you can. He did not know what he was talking about, flat out, because I injured my back twice. It actually kept me from making progress longer. And I'm telling you, the second mistake, doing heavy compound movements with bad form, one of the most common mistakes you'll ever see. Like, dude, if you're going to the gym and you're going with your boys, do not be ashamed to be hitting 20 pounds less on the bench. It does not matter where you're at in the journey. If the ultimate goal is how do I make as much progress as possible, as fast as possible, I'm telling you, easily one of the biggest mistakes. Probably took 3 to 4 years off my progress, legit. Just that alone. But let's keep going. Number 3. So let's get into sophomore year. Still maybe between 120 and 130 pounds soaking wet. I'm gaining weight because I'm going through puberty. I'm aging naturally, but still far from where I am now. And one big mistake that I made is I fell into this idea that, you know what, I'm just going to try and eat as much as I can. The only way that I could get big is by eating as much as I can every day. But I wasn't tracking a thing. Most kids my age aren't tracking either, and I don't blame. Like, what kid is bringing a scale to the boy with the boys to lunch and being like, guys, let's track? Nobody's doing that. But it's important to know the foundation, and I didn't. So what could have I done, and what was I doing? Every day, just trying to go to a fast food restaurant like McDonald's and just get as many calories as I could and not track a thing, or just eat until I'm stuffed. I wasn't making any progress because without being able to actually know my maintenance calories and have a clear idea of how much protein or calories I should try and eat within a day, some days I just would eat 2 meals and wouldn't think about it, and I'd just be hanging out and playing football. I wouldn't notice. So without any clear metrics to track anything, I was practically, from the end of sophomore year to junior year, I probably gained 3 to 4 pounds, and it was just me naturally growing. It wasn't me actually making progress in the gym. And so that's another, I'm probably year 5 lifting here, year 4, year 5, but let's keep going. So along this journey and around junior year, year 5 of me lifting, I start seeing some progress. But why? Why am I able to start seeing real progress? Is it because I've spent 4 or 5 years building my foundation strong? And am I telling you that you need to spend 4 years before you see any progress? No. I did not have good form. I did not know what I was doing. I did not have a coach or anyone giving me specific actionable steps to make progress. I was just winging it, and I was a kid. So don't feel like it takes that long to make progress. Mistake number 3. I could say ego lifting again, but let's just call this copying what everybody else is doing instead of figuring out what worked for me. So I would literally, any coach, it could be a junior coach or even just random other guys in the gym who would say, no, this is what you need to do to build your physique. This is the workout. I would literally switch from one workout to another, one style to another style. I would go from doing a ton of cardio to no cardio. I would go from doing progressive overload to high volume, then back into low volume. I was just flip-flopping workouts all the time because I had so little confidence in the years I had spent teaching myself. I would just be like, oh, you're in the gym, didn't even have a good physique, but let me listen to that. Do not listen to everything you see online. That is lesson number 4. I'm telling you, there are workouts that work for your body that do not work for someone else's body. And part of the first couple years in the gym, which is so important, is figuring out what workouts work for you. Everybody's body is different. For instance, like I told you, I wrecked my back by doing heavy compound squats when I was younger in a football training camp. That affects the type of movements I'll do. Like, I don't do a lot of bent over rows. It's not an optimal movement for me with just free weights. I'll tend to switch that up by using machines and stuff like that. But know your own body, and it's okay to learn and adjust. If a workout feels really optimal for your body, you're feeling the pump, you know you have good form, do not listen to someone else saying, oh, well, actually, decrease the rep volume and do this movement because it's more optimal. Bro, they barely know what they're talking about. Nevertheless, or you have walked in your body, have taken your steps. I'm telling you, you know more about your body than you think. Let's get into lesson number 5. Trust your gut when it comes to lifting. If you feel like, I shouldn't throw on this extra weight on the bench today, my body doesn't feel right, the amount of times that I strained my muscles or got injured because, once again, ego lifting, I could say ego lifting for 3, 4, 5, 6 if I really wanted to, but they funnel down to micro lessons. Basically, if you're in the gym and your body feels just strained, sore, or you just have a gut feeling, you know what, I really shouldn't do a max bench set today. Or I know I'm lifting with the boys, but I don't need to lift heavy today. It feels more optimal for me to switch it up and go low volume. Trust your gut. You don't have to listen to every science-based lifter on the internet telling you, well, actually, progressive overloading 4 to 8 reps is the only way. And it's not the only way you could grow. I have a physique now that's better than probably 99% of these natural science-based lifters. And I just say that with no ego. I say that because I genuinely put in the work and I know what I've built. But I also say that to let you know, you don't have to listen to what everyone else is saying. You don't have to listen to what I'm saying. If 4 to 6 reps feels really optimal for you and the form is good and you feel yourself making progress, I'm not even saying you have to see the progress, but you feel yourself making progress, that's fine. Because get into lesson number 6. Consistency is king. Forget the diets, forget the 75 hard. All of those ideas are built on a preconception that one day you're going to quit it. That one day you're just going to stop doing it. Like, you see these people hop on these 75 hards and sure, yeah, their physique gets better, but they hop on an extreme regimen that they mentally don't want to do, but they're forcing themselves to do it. And then by the time they're done, hooray, my physique's better, and they stop doing it. And then lo and behold, 3, 4 months later, they're back where they started, not in shape. So don't focus on a lot of the noise out there. Oh, here's a mystical diet that you need to do. Oh, this 75 hard combined with this hot yoga session, it's all BS. It doesn't help you. The thing that helps you most is finding something that you can stick with, that feels good for you, that you enjoy doing, believe it or not, because then day in and day out, while other people chase the short-term gratifications, the short-term results, you're just stacking W's, bro. You're just stacking one day after the next, and you're building up a mountain of consistency. And you know what the real beauty of consistency is? Lesson number 7, stacking good habits. So if you're still watching, I'm gonna get a little bit personal with you. When I was graduating high school, I was not in a good place mentally. I really just was really lost. I was doing stuff that wasn't good for me when it came to smoking and stuff. And I was just, all in all, not in a good place. And little did I know, I would learn a lesson about the power of habits that probably saved my life, one, and I hope it helps you possibly more than anything in this entire video. I was down bad. I was literally COVID had just hit. I was watching movies all day. I was barely doing anything productive. And the more that I indulged in bad habits, the worse I felt about myself. And the only good habit that I even had was the gym. I could barely even talk to people. I was such an anxious wreck. Literally, the only thing that I was doing positive for myself was dragging myself to the gym 2 or 3 times a week. It was the only thing that I kept doing that was positive when it came to habits. And the reason why is because the power of habit loops. I had been going to the gym for so long that it became ingrained in me. And before you're like, oh, screw this guy, I'm not even going to the gym at all. At the start, it's going to be hard. But when you continue doing it, it becomes natural with everything. This can go beyond just fitness and building the physique of your dreams. This could go with anything. And the reason why I tell you this with the gym, practice stacking small habits. I read this book called The Power of One More. And I was at such a low point at this time that I was literally like, all right, you know what? I might as well test things out in the gym. It was basically doing one more rep on every exercise. So if I was doing bicep curls, instead of doing 10 reps, I did 11. If I was going for a Stairmaster session or whatever it might be, I would do one more minute, one more rep, whatever. You get the point. At first, it felt pretty stupid. I'm like, what am I even doing? Why am I doing this? But I was so lost and so bored. I was like, I might as well try. So I did it. And after a month, 2 months, I still felt kind of silly doing it. But lo and behold, 3 months in, I completely forgot and I was still doing it every day. And a year later, I kind of looked back and thought, yeah, you know, I'm the guy who does one more rep in the gym. Didn't really think much about it when I was doing it, but now I can confidently tell you that stacking little W's is lesson number 8. And the reason why is because you don't have to go on a 20-mile run or do some ridiculous diet that you hate or do some 75 hard that you don't like doing in order to get in shape. That is a lie. That is someone chasing a short term result that they end up losing anyway. So if you just stack small habits, you stack small wins, will it take you a little bit longer to get to that end result? Sure. But by the time you get there, you've built it in a way that it actually lasts. So, lesson number 9, the reason why I would not change a thing personally, but I hope I teach you how to save years off your lifting journey through my mistakes when it comes to lifting, is by building it the right way. It's so much easier to maintain it and it's so much easier to keep it. The physique that you see, I'm just gonna throw up a bunch of random videos of me working out. Why am I throwing these random videos up? It's because I live like this year round. There's me in a mullet. There's me with the hair that I have now. I live like this literally year round. This isn't some prepping for a competition. This is my homeostasis. This is the body that I've built. And I'm telling you it's possible. And I'm not showing you some 2-year mystical program that's going to get you all the results in the world in no time. It's going to be hard. It's going to require work. But when you do it the right way, you've built something that you can maintain, that you can stick with. That's the most important thing. So, lesson number 10, move at your own pace. I'm going to tell you a pretty crazy story about my life. So, in 2023, if you don't already know my story, I was a passenger in a really bad car accident. Literally, by no means, completely not my fault. I was literally just a passenger in the car. But I got hit really hard and I nearly died. Broke my neck, hospital, neck brace. And if you're still watching my story up to this point, I've spent pretty much most of, if not all of my life building up a physique. It was one of the few things I was like, I feel really proud about this because I felt like I earned it. I did earn it. And being in a neck brace for 4 months, I pretty much lost majority of everything I built when it comes to a physique. That's what being in an accident at that level and being in a neck brace for that long will do that to you. And so I had to rebuild from the ground. And so when I say move at your own pace, I only learned this lesson a couple years ago. I was always trying to speed run everything. I was always trying to just find the shortcut, find the way to just make that next stride as fast as possible. And little did I know that was setting me behind. Because when I took this neck brace off and I was given the okay from my doctor to start training again, I started so light. I was doing the light. I had to start from practically zero weight. Basically, zero weight is how I started. So I went from being the guy that was curling the 30s, the 40s like it was nothing to curling the fives. I went from benching over 300 to benching less than 100. And I didn't even get to hop on the bench in the beginning. And so the lesson that I learned from that, I had to block out all the noise. I had to block out what everyone else was saying and just focus on my own pace. I couldn't go on social media and look at all of these other guys' physiques and all the weight that they are moving. I literally could only focus on what I was doing. And I made so much more progress within that 2-year span. You want to see a 2-year transformation that I think is the best on the internet? I think my 2-year transformation is right up there because it's real and it's genuine. I'm not saying that anyone else's isn't. I don't know. Some people's probably aren't, some people's probably are. But where I went from at the start of 2023 to where I am right now is basically a compounding of all this experience that I'm telling you about right now. And if you're still watching, I hope this is giving you value because lesson number 10 is huge. You're going to feel your ego is going to try and get you to rush it, try and go at a pace that you're not ready for. Where you're at is where you're at. Figure out what works for you. Take one step at a time and block out tunnel vision, literally tunnel vision, block out all the noise. All these people trying to take a shortcut and hop on steroids, bro, that's going to take 20, 30 years off their life. They're in a different lane. They're making that decision. That's not you. I'm assuming you're natural. I'm assuming you want to build this the right way in a way that'll last. Block it out. Focus on your lane. Bro, this other guy's throwing around 4 plates on the bench. Cool. If I really wanted to right now, I could shift up my style of lifting and try and lift 4 plates. I would not look this aesthetic. I would not have this level of just ripped aesthetic natural physique at the weight that I'm at. I'm happy. I don't need to bulk up to 200 to bench 4 plates. It's not my goal. And so I don't care to look at any of that. Or it's not that I'm like, oh, I can't look at it. It's I'm focused on my goal. I'm focused on what's right in front of me. And I had to start from 5s. I had to start from benching less than 100. So lesson number 10, follow your path. That's the ultimate thing. Yes, am I going to be an online personal trainer? And do I think that I'm the best natural aesthetic trainer on the planet? That's my belief because of what I've been through in this story. And if you're serious about a one-on-one coaching that could actually help you make a life-changing difference, you can feel free to click the link in the bio. But regardless, I just hope this helps you out. Like, I hope all these lessons that I'm giving you help you save years of time. And I truly believe they do. And that's the issue. There's so much noise out there. If you were to try and build your own custom program, which I tried to do so many times, there's so much noise. There's so much this guy telling you this, that guy telling you that. In order to find what works for you, it's like I just said, lesson number 10. Go into the gym, block out the noise, test out workouts that work for your body. And you might learn after doing a workout for a year that, oh shit, I was doing the wrong thing. Or you could hire a coach that could tell you personally how to do it. That's me. I could help you do that, but I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying learn from your mistakes, tunnel vision on your goals, block out all the other noise, combine all the lessons I just told you. Don't ego lift. Know your macros, know your nutrition. You don't have to be the guy that brings the scale into the restaurant. You just have to be the guy that roughly knows your numbers and is hitting your targets every freaking day. And above all, stay consistent. Get after it. Stay blessed. I believe in you. I hope this helped you out.